Hi, I am working and I have an experience of 8 plus years. Today we will learn what is inheritance, C# inheritance. Inheritance means reusability, means code reusability. So this is the mechanism in which one class is allowed to inherit the members of another class. Okay, for inheritance we should have at least two classes. But we can have more than two classes. There is no limit, but at least we should have two classes. To perform inheritance we use this symbol. Okay, so switch to Visual Studio and I will create a new console application by clicking the Control Shift N button. Select console app, give the name of application project. I will give inheritance and then click on OK. Now it will create our inheritance project. Okay, so for inheritance we should have at least two classes. So I will create first few class. So public, then class my class. So two more class I will create. So this one and this time my class 2 and my class 3. Okay, now this is the mechanism in which one class is allowed to inherit the members of another class. Okay, in this concept one class will be parent, either parent or base. One class will be parent class and another class will be either child or derived class. Okay, so parent or child. In this case we having three class my class 2, my class 3. So to inherit we use this colon symbol. So my class 2 colon and my class. It means that now this my class 2 is derived class, child class, and this my class 2 is parent class. Okay, so my class is parent class of my class 2, or my class 2 is child of my class. Instead of my class, if I will use my class 3, in this case my class 3 will be parent class and my class 2 will be child class. So we can say that my class 2 is child of my class 3, or my class 3 is parent of my class 2. Okay, so we have seen. Now the class whose members are inherited is known as parent. Okay, so again if I will create my class, so by the definition the class whose members are inherited, in this case the my class members are being inherited, is known as parent or base class. In this case my class will be base class, and the class which inherit that members, means this class, this is inherit that members, is known as child derived class. So this is known as derived class. And what's the members mean whatever will be inside this class, that will be member of my class. Whatever will be inside this class, that will be member of my class 2. In the same way, whatever will be here between this opening or curly braces, that will be member of my class 3. Okay, so now we having few types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multiple inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. We will see one by one with example. So first, single inheritance. What is it? In this, single child class will inherit the features of single parent class. It means that we will have only two classes. One class will be child class and second will be parent class. So if I move to paint, so it means that suppose we having a class A. For example, we having a class A and this is the parent of B. Okay, so by the definition, in this child class, in this single child class will inherit the features of single parent class. In this case we having only one child, that is B, and one parent, that is A. Means B will inherit the members of class A. Okay, so for example, just rename this like class A, and instead of my class to use class B, then this will be class C. Okay, now class B will inherit class A. Just forget about this for now and comment out. So how to comment this line? Just select that line which we want to comment and click on this commented out. I will click on that. Now this will be commented. Now class B will inherit the members of class A. So how will inherit? Class B colon class A. It means that whatever will be inside this class A will be accessible to class B. So to understand this, for better understanding, we will see an example. So just create a method inside this public void, for example, method class A. For example, method A. Okay, I will give it name method A. In the same way, I will create another method inside this class B. Okay, class B. Now class B is inherited class A. Okay, this is our class B and this is inheriting class A. It means that, okay, here we will print something to see the output. Console write line hello from method A. Okay, and in the same way we will here hello from method. This time this is method B. Okay, now class B is inheriting class A. It means that whatever is inside the class A will be accessible to class B. So to see the result, we will create instance of a class A. We will instance of class B. So how to create an instance of class, or how to create an instance of class or object of class? So just put the class name and then give the any object name or any instance name. For example, I will give B is equal to new class B. Now we have created an instance. This is instance, or we can say this is object. So we have created class B instance. Okay, now if I will write B dot, so what should access? B dot, this method will be accessed because this is method inside B. So this will be accessible. B dot method, as well as method A will also be accessible. Why? Because this class B is inherited class A. So we can see B dot method A as well as method B. We can see method A is accessible. This is not new. We have already seen in our previous chapter. So to better understanding, please watch previous chapters. So B dot method A and B dot method B is also accessible. This is accessible with B instance because class A is inherited with class B, and whatever is inside in the class B, not only this, if we have one more, for example ABC for this time. So now this time with B instance, method B, method A and ABC all will be inherited, all will be accessible. Sorry, you can see method A, method B as well as ABC is inheriting. Okay, now if I will, what will happen if I will create an instance of class A this time? Class A is equal to new class A, and if I will try to now access with A instance, A dot, then what will be access? Only method A will be access. Why? Because this is the class and it is not inheriting any class. So only this method will be accessible. A dot method A. A dot method A. You can see A dot method A is accessible, not method B is accessible. Okay. So the first is single inheritance. in the single child class will inherit the feature of single parent class. We have seen class B is inheriting class A. Now in this case, class A is parent and class B is child, and whatever will be in the child class, whatever will be in the parent class will be accessible to child class, but vice versa is not possible. We have seen if you will create an instance of class A and if you will try to with A dot method B, it will not be accessible. Okay, so we have seen this. Now second, multi-level inheritance. Okay, multi-level inheritance means in this a child class inherit from a base class. Okay, a child class inherit from a base class, and then the same child class act as a base class for another class. It means that, for example, we having a class A. Okay, now class B is inheriting class A, and this time class C is inheriting class B. In this case, the parent of C will be B and the parent of B will be A. Okay, so B is inheriting A and C is inheriting B. So this is in this a child class inherit from a base class. This one, a child class inherit from a base class, and then the same child class act as a base class. This same child class act as a base class for another class, for this class. So we will look into this by an example. For example, now we having three class. Just uncomment this, select and just click on this uncommented. Now we having three class. What I am saying, B is inheriting A. Okay, B is we having three class A, class B and class C. So B is inheriting class A, so class A. Okay, now B is inheriting class A. Now the parent of B is A. Now C is inheriting class B. Okay, C is inheriting class B. Now C is inheriting class B. Okay, now what will be the output in this case? First we will try to see with dry run. Okay, class B. Now we have created a class B object, this class B object, and this class B having a class A. So if I will try to access with B dot, then what will be access? B dot. This method B will be accessed because this is inside the class B, and this is inheriting class A, so this will be also accessible. So with class B in B object, method B and method A will be accessible. But okay, so B dot method A and method B, we can see method A and method B will be accessed. So also create a method inside this time method C. Okay, with B object, with class B object, this method B will be accessible and method A will be accessible because B is inheriting class A. So B dot method A and method B, we can see method A and method B is accessible. Okay, that's fine. Now create an instance of class C this time. C is equal to new class C. Now with C, what will be accessible? We can see C. So this method C will be accessible because this is inside this class C, and this having the class B, so also this will be accessible. Now method C will be accessible. Now method B will be accessible because this is inheriting class B, and this class B is inheriting also class A. It means that method A will also be accessible. Okay, let's explain me one more time. Class C. So we have created an instance of this class C. So C dot method C will be accessible because this is inside this class C, and this is inheriting class B, so method B will also be accessible. Okay, now method B is also inheriting class A, so this time method A will also be accessible. So this time method A, method B and method C, all three will be accessible. We can see method A, method B and method C all will be accessible. But what will happen if I will remove this? And we having created an instance of class C, so this will be accessible because this is inside this class C, and class B. this will also be accessible. So method C will be accessible, method B will also be accessible, but this class is not inheriting any class, so this will not be accessible. So only this time method C and method B will be accessible, method B and method C. So method B and method C will be accessible. Okay, so class A, that's fine. We have seen this multi-level inheritance. Now hierarchical inheritance. In this, one class will act as a base class for more than one child class. Okay, in this, one class will act as a base class for more than one child class. Okay, it means suppose we having a class A. Okay, so it is work now. Class B is inheriting class A. So here B is child class, A is parent class. Again there is another class C. In this case class C is also inheriting class A, class B is inheriting class A, class C is inheriting class A. Now for example, one more class we have, there is no limit, we can have any. Now class B is inheriting class A, so class B is child of class A. Also class C is inheriting class A, so class C is child of A. Now in the same way class D is the child of A. It means that for all this B, C and D, only one parent, class A. So with an example, class A, we having a class A. Okay, so class B, class C, class D. Also use one more class D. Just remove this one, previous one. Okay, remove this also. So class D, method D and method D. So B is inheriting class A, B is inheriting, so B is inheriting class A. Okay, that's fine, class A. Okay, C is also inheriting class A, C is also inheriting which class? Class A. So class A, that's fine. D is also inheriting class A, D is also inheriting class A. Okay, now there is only one parent which is A of these three classes, B, C and D. Now in this case, create one more instance of class D here. So class D is equal to new class D. That's fine. Now I am trying to now with B. Okay, now with B, which will be accessible with B. If I will use B instance, then this method B will be accessible, and also the inheriting class A, so method A will be accessible. But this is not the point. We have to look into this. So A is the parent of B, C and D. So with D, the last one, sorry, with D, which will be accessible? Class D. Okay, let's see, class D. So method D will be accessible. Okay, method D will be accessible because this is inside this class. This is inheriting class A. Okay, so method, just write out here output. So method D will be accessible. Okay, that's fine, method D will be accessible, and this class D is inheriting class A. So class, this one class A, method A will be accessible. Apart from this, no one will be accessible because class D is inheriting class A and class A is this one. So method D, method A will be accessible. Okay, with D instance, Now run this program and we will see that method D and method A will be accessible only. Method D and method A, yeah, method D and method A will be accessible only because the parent class of class D is class A. Okay, so this is hierarchical inheritance. Now multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance means this is not possible with class inheritance but possible with interface. Okay, so first understand this, what is multiple inheritance. It means a class will be, it means that a class will have two parents. It class will, yet we have not seen this class having only one parent class A, this class having only one class A, this having only one parent class A. But what it is saying, a class will have two parents at the same time. It means that, for example, if we having a like class A and C, okay, it means that now C having two parents. This is not possible in class inheritance. This is possible with interface, and we will discuss in upcoming tutorials when we will learn interface. And interface is one of the primary pillar of OOPS concept. This is the top rated interview topics, interface. So when we will learn interface, we will see that. So for now, multiple class inheritance is not possible. So just we will look into that with example. Okay, so now C is inheriting class A and class B. C is inheriting class A and class B. Just remove this. Okay, C is inheriting class A and class B. Okay, class A. Okay, fine. Now class B also. So with comma class B. We can see compile time error. You can see compile time error. Class C cannot have multiple base class. Means a child class cannot have more than one parent at a time. This is not possible in inheritance. Means class inheritance. This is possible in interface. Okay, and we will look into interface in very depth in upcoming videos. Okay, so this is not possible. Multiple inheritance is not possible. Now hybrid inheritance. This is the combination of multi-level and hierarchical. Combination of this multi-level and hierarchical. This is also not possible with inheritance but possible with interface. So when we will learn interface, we will look into that. So what's the mean of first this hybrid interface? For example, okay, we have seen 1 2 3 4. For example, this is A. Okay, C and D. This is the combination of multi-level and hierarchical. Now B is inheriting class A, C is inheriting also class A. Now D is inheriting class B, and D is also inheriting class C. So this is not possible. This is possible with interface. So we have seen single inheritance with example, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. These two are not possible with class inheritance. So we will look into that in upcoming videos when we will learn interface. Okay. So okay, now with inheritance with this access modifier, public, we have public, internal, protected or private. So we have already learned in our previous chapter, that is the name of access modifier. So please watch that access modifier chapter to better understand this. Okay, so for better understanding. Okay, now you can like, subscribe and share if you wish, and if you have any query, you can send me mail on below mail ID fresher2coder@gmail.com, or if you have any code that is giving any error, So you can send me that particular code, that particular lines. I will resolve that and will reply on the same mail.